Welcome to online lectures by CA Studies. For more lectures online, please do visit castudies.lk.
Hello everyone, welcome to the CS Studies of Introduction to BL3. I'm Chamat Gunratna and I'm a legal professional in many business corporations. Okay, so today I'm gonna teach you about law. What is law? Especially if you are enrolled as a chartered accountant student, you must study law. What is a commercial law, the business law in chartered accountancy? Listen, you don't actually need to have a fluency in English. Just having pretty much the basic English knowledge is enough. Let me give an example. If you can understand me and understand the words that I'm already written here, that is enough, because since most of our language, our mother tongue is Sinhala or Tamil, so don't have to worry about it. So without further ado, let's go to the lecture. Okay, so when I'm talking about law, what is law? This is the first question that when I'm starting my law as a course, as a degree per se, the lecture asked from all of us, okay, what is law? And we all like, let me think about it. So what we did was, in the first step, we all took our phones, we just typed what is law in Google. Some people have dictionaries, and many people came up with different definitions. In Oxford Dictionary, they say a different type. In Collins, they say different. In Google, they pretty much say like a very unusual thing, which is actually not related to law at all. Okay, so let me say a simple version of what is law. Law is actually rules made for the proper regulation of society or for correct conduct in life. Just remembering this simple definition is enough to actually explain it yourself. Say when someone asks what is law in person. Okay, so actually the law is integral part of the society. That means the law is actually within us. It started from within us. Animals don't have law, only humans does. So that's why from law we have built civilization. So we build our society because we have basic necessities in our society, such as law. Some people say law is stagnant. Stagnant means not developing. Well, failed state in this world, they have a stagnant law which is not developing. But a country that properly functions, it actually doesn't have unstagnant or not stagnant of laws. Okay, make sure remember that. And always people say law is presumption, right? Presumption is believing something that without proof. Law, you cannot believe it without proof. You need evidence and proof to actually to justify the law itself. Otherwise, it's just what you call a stagnant. That's the thing. Okay, so let me go to the other side. People say that it's actually a general definition within our society. In Latin, we say quousque novit legem, okay, which means every person knows the law. At least when we are young, when we are little, the only laws we know: don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. That's the basic laws that we learn from our parents. Once we go to the society, there will be more laws, such as Do not kill, do not hurt, do not beat people, do not steal. Many laws. We learn law day by day. Law has to be modernized. There are some laws that are being modernized every day by day, and there are laws that has been developed that are developing for 10, 20 years, and there are laws that are not developing at all. It's just basic structural laws that we have in our society. Okay, and some people say that in this ignorantia, this Latin term, people always breaks the law, and that is not an excuse. That's what we are using in our Latin term, ignorantia juris non excusat. Okay, which means ignorance is not an excuse. Without knowing the law and breaking the law, it's not an excuse. Such as drink and driving. You know the law, it's not good, but you drink, you drive, you face an accident, you will be held against manslaughter. So that's the basic law. That's we do. When we get back to the commercial, the business side that you are studying, we always think about business versus commerce. People have many doubts of what is business and what is commerce. Okay, but these are actually coincide with each other. These two words doesn't have a separate meaning. It's just two sides of the coins. It's very similar. But that's only slight mistake, slight difference actually. Business is actually the body that governs the system itself. It's actually it involves with commercial entities and regulations, while commercial law is actually more into rights, duties and obligations of the business, such as how it functions, what are the rules, regulations, policies that needs within the business itself to govern the structure and all. So those are the basic necessities of the commercial law that you need, the hierarchy itself, in order to establish a business and run within itself. So that's why the law, as I mentioned it before, is an integral part of the society, which is a vital for our need. Okay, so when we're talking about the commercial law in Sri Lanka, so this is the topic that I'm planning to study, to teach you all. This is the main thing, and this is actually the start of the commercial law or the business law, what you're learning from this now on. Okay, so commercial law in Sri Lanka is actually mostly based from English law, also known as common law throughout the whole world. But in Sri Lanka, the common law is the Roman Dutch law, which is actually derived from the Dutch that has been ruled our Sri Lanka back in the days. And up to this day, the foundation of law in Sri Lanka is actually built upon Roman Dutch law. And now it's transforming mostly into English law itself. Okay, now don't worry about this theory as itself, since you all are beginners. I'll be teaching the basic English that you will be understanding. Okay, and I'll be starting from zero itself for you all to understand step by step, and I'll be going step by step, and with every step by step I will be teaching you all. I will be there to help you all. So back to the lecture. So these are the acts, the statutes, the law, what we have, the written law, if I want to be accurate itself. in Sri Lanka, which has been mostly derived from English law that I have previously mentioned. So the main act for commercial law and business law in Sri Lanka is Companies Act number 7 of 2007. Okay, most of this law that we have taken is from British and the New Zealand acts. So without further ado, we'll go to the Securities and Exchange Act number 36 of 1987. This act was amended to ensure the money flows correctly within institutes and stop funding for terrorism. So that's why this act has been built, to stop funding terrorism mainly. So that's why. Let's go to the Inland Revenue number 24 of 2017. This is actually the most recent act that were amended. Actually, Inland Revenue, this act was actually governed by the Inland Revenue Department, which is mostly people known about income tax. No, we all heard about income tax. So the Inland Revenue Act is actually looking to the income tax. So mainly because this has been amended recently to stop money laundering within the companies, within some institution, to cover up, to avoid paying income tax to the government. So that's why they have amended this new law. So, and these acts actually mostly they are for the employees, the workers in a business, which is the backbone of the business. Without workers, there is no business. So that's what. So it is Shop and Office Act, Employees Trust Fund, Employees Provident Fund, payment of gratuity. If a business, a company, can be a limited liability, can be a public liability, public company, private limited companies, those things must follow these rules. If you have employees and if you pay income tax, you need to follow all the laws. And that's why most of the companies has a legal department, because without the legal department, the company cannot function itself. They might run into trouble. They might not knowing the law, and they might get sued by the governments itself. And the basic, so when you talk about when someone suing a company, there is actually a minimum dispute amount. For example, A company bought some shares from the B company, and the B company didn't got the money and gave the shares into the A company, and the shares, one share worth value of, we'll say, 100 rupees, and the A company bought a lot of shares that's actually goes up to 40 million. The B company can sue the A company for neglecting and for fraud itself. Okay, so the minimum dispute amount that was mentioned is 20 million Sri Lankan rupees. It can, if a company will be dealing with foreign currencies, it has to be converted into the local money in order to proceed with the courts Otherwise, they will withdraw. You will be not allowed to even file a case even. When you are filing a case, make sure to remember there are specific courts. You cannot go for every court to file a complaints like this in regarding to commercial matters. There's a specific court called Commercial High Court, also known as CHC. Many companies sorting out their dispute with other companies. It can be the government itself. They're actually, from this court itself. And there are 3 courts: Commercial Court number 1, 2, and 3. Each court manages on different court orders, disputes itself. So this is just a general knowledge that I'll be giving to you. Okay, so keep that in mind. If someone asked, where should I file a commercial dispute case? In Commercial High Court, located in Halsdorf, Colombo 12. Okay, the minimum dispute amount is no less than 20 million LKR, and just say that what are the laws that relating to the commercial law itself, mentioned these acts, the whole act itself. And you don't have to remember all the names of these acts, but for exams you have to mention all these acts, but you have to remember also. But finding an act is easy. We'd say number 7 of 2007. Must remember the act number and the year itself. Just the number is not enough, because some numbers are similar to each other. Say Companies Act number 7 is similar to Shop and Office Employees Act number 7. Okay, so this is a basic example. Okay, make sure always has to remember the act number and the year, because the year is always different. It's always has to be different. That's the basic law, the basic standard when they're amending a statute itself.
Thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned with castudies.lk for more lectures online.